Academic Chair of Engineering Technologies at MBCC. I'm responsible for the building civil engineering technology programs, and I'm also responsible for the civil technician program as well. So by training, I'm an electrical engineer, but I was, before becoming academic chair, an instructor in the electrical engineering technology programs. So I just want to start by saying welcome to everyone. We're really excited to show you, some things that are very important to you as you come to MBCC in September. We're going to go through a presentation that's going to give you some information about the program. And at the end of the presentation, we will have an opportunity for you to ask questions. I also have with us Bill Gaudette, who is a coordinating instructor. Bill, do you want to just do a quick intro?
Hello. Hi, I'm Bill Gaudette. I'm a coordinating instructor with the Building Engineering Technology and Civil Engineering Technology department at the college. I teach as well, so I teach. My background would be I did my 2 years at the community college, and then I went off and did my architectural studies. And what I teach you is basically getting your skills up to speed in AutoCAD. And we also teach manual drawing, which is one of the courses that I teach. So we start you off with that, and we move on from there. And I'm one of the ones that's going to be teaching a lot of your drawing skills over the time that you're here. Welcome to the school, everybody. Congratulations on getting accepted.
Great, thanks, Bill. So I'll start the presentation. Just going to switch over here and share my screen. And we're going to go right into our PowerPoint presentation. So as I mentioned before, the presentation that we're going to go through is basically what we call our college preview day. So the purpose of the presentation is really to provide information to incoming students, let them know what they should expect when they come to MBCC, and most important of all, is to answer any questions that you may have. So we're just going to jump right in, starting with, just explaining all the different programs that we offer. Some of you may be in building engineering technology, some of you may be in civil engineering technology, and some of you may even be in civil technician, even though civil technician is actually only a January start program. But we'll start by listing our BET, or building engineering technology programs, starting with architectural, which is offered in Moncton. We have the building systems program, which is offered at the Fredericton campus. We also offer construction management in Moncton and structural at the Moncton campus as well. So 3 of the 4 building engineering technology programs are offered at the Moncton campus. We also have 1 civil engineering technology program, CET, and that's Highway Municipal, and it is also offered at the Moncton campus. And finally, the civil technician program. So this is the 1-year program that we offer. It is also offered at the Moncton campus. So we're going to go through all of these programs, some of the highlights of what you will learn in these particular programs, and then we'll get into some of the other details that you need to know as an incoming student into the programs. So first thing to discuss is program duration. So if you're in the technologist program, so that's the building engineering technology or civil engineering technology, those programs are 2 years long. The civil technician program is only a 1-year program. So there's a distinction between the technologist programs and the technician program. And the biggest distinction between the two is the length of the program and how many terms you will ultimately study. Each of the academic years has 3 terms. So that's something that the students coming to our programs don't necessarily realize, is that we actually have 3 terms in 1 academic year. So if you are in a technologist level program, you will actually have 6 total terms of study. If you are at the technician level program, then you will have 3 terms of study. Just going through what the academic year calendar actually looks like. This is for technologist students, the 2-year programs. Basically, the 3 terms that I just spoke of is the fall, winter, and spring. So we start in the fall in September. The first term is about 15 weeks from September to December. Then we start the second term, term 2, which is in the winter, and it goes from January to mid-April. And then The third term of the academic year is the spring term, which is from mid-April till June. Could everybody please just mute your mics because I'm getting a little bit of an echo there, if you don't mind, please. Thank you. So that's our academic year. We have 3 terms, and if you are in a 2-year program, then the second year you follow again those 3 terms. So term 4, if you're in a 2-year program, is the fall, term 5 is the winter, and term 6, the final term of a 2-year program, would be in the spring. When you're looking at the technician program, what's different is the starting time for that program. So it's actually a January start program, and there's 3 terms in that program. So the winter term, spring term, let me go back here. Yeah, the winter term, the spring term, and then the fall term is actually the final term of that civil technician program. So the sequence is a little bit different for the technician level program, and only 3 terms of study as opposed to 6 for the technology level programs. So moving on to accreditation, and again, this relates only to the 2-year technologist programs. We are currently in transition as it relates to our accreditation. So let me first explain what accreditation means. So accreditation means that there is an independent body that will evaluate the curriculum that we teach in our programs. So previously, our programs were accredited through the Canadian Technical Accreditation Board. That particular organization has since been absorbed by a new accreditation body called TAC, or Technology Accreditation Canada. So we're currently in the process of transitioning our accreditation from CTAB over to TAC. And you may be asking, well, what does that mean for me as a student coming into this program? And what it means really is it speaks to the quality of the program that you're going to be studying. So this means that a third party has evaluated the curriculum that you are studying and will basically say that it meets a certain standard, if you will, that is approved at the national level in Canada and actually across many countries in the world where they are recognized. So now we're going to get into the specifics of what you will study in the different programs that you have picked, starting with building engineering technology, architectural. So architectural, in a nutshell, if you were to describe what you will study, basically you're trained to design, analyze, design, drawing details, and presentations of architectural projects. So it all ties back to architectural design. In terms of specific areas of study for architectural students, you're going to study architectural design, both from the residential and commercial perspective. You're going to study building renovation and restoration. You'll study green building technology. You'll learn about the National Building Code of Canada. You will learn CAD skills, or computer-aided design and drafting. You'll also have some structural related courses. So structural steel design, you do some structural timber design, and also some concrete design, not at the level of a structural student, but they're, to be able to do some architectural design, you have to have some foundation in some structural knowledge as well. You'll also learn about estimating or quantity surveying, law and contracts, communications, math, project management, safety. There's a senior technical project, and you'll also do some field surveying. So some of these last items that I listed, you will see are pretty well common to all of the programs of study. Moving on to the second option for building engineering technology, which is building systems, this one offered in Fredericton. The purpose of this program is to train students to assist in the design, management, and field supervision of projects related to different areas than just building engineering technology, but electrical and mechanical systems, and that for residential and commercial buildings. So specific areas of study for building systems. It's very, very strong in CAD. Of all of our programs, this is the one that has the largest content in CAD, or computer-aided drafting. You will learn about thermodynamics. You'll learn about heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, or HVAC systems. You'll learn about plumbing systems, piping and fire control systems, building electrical systems. There's a large focus on energy as well. And that goes along with all of the core building engineering technology knowledge that you will have as well. And then some of the common areas of study like supervision, safety, contract law and project management, communications, math, general science courses. So there's some physics, and also senior technical project, which is in all of our 2-year technology programs. The third program is Building Engineering Technology Construction Management. So the focus is to train students to assist in planning, organizing, directing, controlling, and evaluating construction projects. And that really from the start of a project all the way to the end of a project. And that according to, of course, a schedule, specifications, and of course, a budget. So in terms of areas of study, you'll learn construction project management, planning and scheduling, estimating, or that area is also called quantity surveying, or that skill is called quantity surveying. You'll learn about building, renovation, restoration, and sustainability. You will learn about structures. You will do some introductory structural steel design. You will also learn about CAD, and then those core discipline areas which are common to all programs: supervision, safety, contracts and budgets, communications, math, and the senior technical project. So that's it for construction management. Moving on to the fourth and final building engineering technology program, structural. The core of this course is to learn about the analysis, design, drawing, and detailing of structural projects. So more specifically, looking at the areas of study, you'll learn about soil mechanics and geotechnical design. You will learn some CAD skills. You will also have all of the core structural areas. So we really focus on three areas: steel, wood or timber, and concrete. So there's structural analysis, structural steel design, structural timber design, reinforced concrete design. You will have some estimating as well, not at the same level as the construction management students in terms of the estimating, but you will get some exposure to quantity surveying. And then again, the core skills that come over and over again: supervision, safety, law and contract, communications, math, science, and of course the very important senior technical project at the end. So that sums up the 4 building engineering technology programs. Now we're going to dive into the one program that we have, which is tied to civil engineering technology, and that's the highway and municipal option. So what would you learn if you are a highway municipal student? You're basically going to be trained in the design of highways, transportation, and municipal systems. So that's pretty straightforward. But in terms of specific areas of study, you will learn about road and highway design. You will learn about traffic engineering. You'll learn about asphalt and pavement. You will also have a large focus on surveying. So all of our BET or CET students have some surveying, but in the second year, this is really the only option that goes much, much further in terms of surveying technology and skills. So you have survey field skills, survey engineering, urban systems, or urban services design. You'll learn about water and waste water treatment, environmental planning. There's also soil mechanics and geotechnical design. There's some CAD, and then those core areas which are covered in all the programs, which have been mentioned over and over again. So that sums up our 2-year technologist level programs. Now we're going to have a look at the 1-year program that we have, which is called the Civil Technician Program. So it's basically designed to prepare students to provide technical support in CAD, computer-aided drafting, in field inspections and materials testing, and also surveying. Specific areas of study for the 1-year program is kind of what was mentioned in the summary there. So computer-aided design and drafting. You will learn about different materials. So there's asphalt technology, concrete technology, with a real focus on testing. So you will learn how to test these different materials, and you will also have some survey skills. So you will have not only the theory, but you will have a large hands-on component to your survey training in this program. And then this course doesn't go as far as the 2-year technology program, but you do have some courses in communications, in math, safety, materials technology, and also soil mechanics. So that's kind of a quick summary of the programs and the areas of study that are related to those programs. One thing I think that's really important to discuss is, the flexibility that we have for our students that come into our programs. One of the biggest challenges for students applying to MBCC in this area is, which option do I pick? So that may have been you. You may have been wondering, I really have an interest in architectural, but maybe I would really like, construction management. I'm not sure. So you really have to pick a program when you apply. But it's very important for you to know that we do have some flexibility here. So as a first-year student coming into this program, if you are in building engineering technology, you can apply to transfer to one of the other options. And that application can happen really any time in the first year. Why is that? Well, it's because the first 3 terms for all building engineering technology students is exactly the same. The curriculum is 100% the same. The sequence of delivery, for the most part, is the same as well. So the only caveat here is that if you do want to transfer, there has to be what we call a seat. So a place available in the program in which you want to transfer into. So if a program is full, then we are not able to transfer you into that program. But if a seat becomes available in that program, then we can basically honor a transfer request if you'd like to do so. So that's just in between the building engineering technology programs. We do have an added level of flexibility if you are in the civil engineering technology area, because you can also transfer between building engineering technology and civil engineering technology. However, there's just one little caveat here. It's not all 3 of the first year terms that are common in these program areas. It's really just the first 2. So the fall term and the winter term, 100% the same curriculum. But for building engineering technology and civil engineering technology, once you get into that 3rd term of first year, the courses become different. So if you do want to transfer between the program areas, you have to do that before the start of the 3rd term. So, rest assured that if you're not 100% sure that the program that you've picked is exactly the one that you need, or the one that you would most enjoy, there is the possibility of doing applying to transfer between the programs. In terms of requirements from a technology perspective coming into these programs, you will be expected to come with a laptop. And there are various unique specifications that your laptop has to meet. So first and foremost, note that you do need to bring a laptop. In terms of the specifications for that laptop, the specifications are on our website under the program area, but I've shared a slide here which basically has all of the minimum requirements for your laptop. And I'm not going to go through all of them in detail, but what I do want to state here is that it's very important that your laptop meets these minimum specifications. You are going to be using CAD software that has pretty significant requirements from a computing perspective, from a memory perspective. So it's very important that you do that. We get into 3D modeling using Revit, and that software requires a significant amount of computing power. And it's very important that you meet these minimum specifications. We have students that come every year and they're, some of them will not meet these minimum specifications and they run into problems. They have key deadlines and, their computer just doesn't work. And it's our expectation that you do come with a computer with minimum specs. So that was not something that, you should take lightly. It is worth getting the right machine for the program. I would also like to note that it's a great thing for you to have a microphone or headset. You will have some of your courses that could be delivered virtually, and it is great when the students have a headset, so it really facilitates in the virtual class environment. Moving on to employment prospects. So you're coming to either the building or civil engineering technology programs, and why are you doing that? Well, because you'd like to find work, I'm assuming. So I just want to share with you that you've made a great choice here. The building and civil engineering technologists are in very high demand. The same can also be said for the graduates from the one-year civil technician program. At MBCC, over 90% of our graduates find work in their related field of study, and that 90% is really for all of our programs across the entire MBCC network. I would say that in engineering that number is even higher than 90%. In terms of career possibilities, what types of companies or organizations hire from our programs? We have engineering, design, and consulting firms. We have architectural firms, different inspection services. We have general contractors, we have subcontractors, we have residential, commercial, and industrial construction companies that hire from our programs, different building services. The manufacturing sector will hire from our programs. Technical sales is an opportunity for careers as well. Energy management, HVAC for those of you that would take building systems. All of our 3 levels of government in Canada hire from our program, so be it local municipal level, the provincial level, or federal level, they all have infrastructure services that hire from our program, and we have detailers and many other really areas that you can find employment. So there's lots of great career opportunities, and you've made a great choice in program. In terms of actual companies that hire from the program, we have companies like Stantec, CBCL, which are large engineering consulting firms, Architects 4, Ocean Steel, Delray, Advanced Management, and there's really a long list here. The municipalities, St. John, Fredericton, Moncton, provincial, and New Brunswick Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, different construction companies. So there's really lots of great employment opportunities from this program. Why is it an excellent choice in career? Well, I've already stated that engineering technologists are in high demand, but beyond that, for those of you that graduate from the 2-year programs, the technologist level programs, you will be eligible for professional certification under our provincial society, which is called the New Brunswick Society of Certified Engineering Technologists and Technicians, or what we call NBCC. So that's an added bonus in terms of graduating from an accredited program, is that you are eligible for this professional certification. Why is MBCC a great choice? So that is a great question. I will say first and foremost, our faculty are really highly qualified, and they are dedicated to their students. And I can say that with a lot of confidence. So all of our faculty come in with relevant industry experience, which really makes the learning experience enhanced because they bring that industry experience to the classroom and they pass that knowledge along to the students. Another reason that MBCC is a great choice, because our curriculum is reviewed not only by industry, because industry has an input through what we call our program advisory committees, but also that our programs meet accreditation standards. And that's for the technologist level program, the 2-year program. Finally, why is MBCC a great choice? Because of the hands-on learning. So not only are you going to learn the important theory that's related to your field of study, but you are going to get the hands-on skills that make MBCC graduates so employable. And that's really what our employers look for. They really want to see someone that has those hands-on skills, someone that's worked with the technology, they've worked with the survey equipment, they've worked with the materials technology in terms of testing, they've worked with AutoCAD, they've worked with Revit, and that's really the huge benefit of coming to MBCC, is the strong hands-on learning that you will acquire while you are here. You will also get exposed to state-of-the-art equipment. Literally, this picture was taken today. We have some new survey equipment that we recently purchased. Over here where it says Rover, this is actually a robotic total station. So this is a newer technology where a one-person survey crew can work with this piece of equipment remotely. And these are the construction management seniors that were the first to use this equipment that we recently purchased. So class of 2021 construction management here. As you can see, it's nice and sunny here in Canada for those of you that aren't in Canada. We are following COVID protocols. You can see the students are wearing masks, and they also have all of the standard construction related PPE or personal protective equipment. Just to talk a little bit about delivery plan and how it relates to the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, that can be a concern for many of you, and many of you on the call may not be in Canada. I'm sure there's a lot of international students on the call, and you may have questions about, what does that mean from a delivery perspective for our programs come September. So a couple of points that I want to make. Number one, our fall 2021 academic delivery is really all about balance. So what do we mean about that? Really, we're talking about having a blend of some virtual theory, but also some in-person theory and, of course, in-person practical learning. All of our practical learning, the hands-on learning, will happen in person at the campus. The theory will be divided into some portion of the theory is delivered virtually, some portion of the theory will be delivered in person. So what does that mean for you? Well, number one, we have the technology to keep you connected. So we use what we call a learning management system. We use Brightspace, and it allows us to connect with our students to communicate information, share information with you. We'll also be using Microsoft Teams for virtual classes. Our plan at the moment is to have 60 to 80% of your classes that will be on campus. So that means that we'll leave about 20 to 40%, depending on your program, that could be a virtual delivery. So some of the theory-based classes will be offered virtually, and that percentage will fluctuate slightly depending on which program area you are in. I've already stated this before, but very important because it's such an important part of our training at MBCC. All of your practical instruction will take place in person on campus, and it will be led by instructors that will be in, our dedicated classrooms, shops, and labs. But we will follow all of the public health guidelines. So those guidelines have changed over this, last year or so, in terms of spacing and in terms of wearing masks. We will follow the public health guidelines to make sure that everyone is safe in our learning environment. You should have received, and if you haven't, please let us know. We'll make sure to share this with you. There is a possibility of us offering a virtual cohort for the fall of 2021. So if we have enough demand, we are going to offer a virtual cohort for the building engineering technology and civil engineering technology students. And that will be really just for the first term. So what that will mean is that you will have all of your studies be virtual for the very first term of the program. Why would we offer this? Well, this is a way to help mitigate potential delays for some of the international students in terms of your visa approvals. And so this is something that if we do have enough interest, and we are going to make this decision actually this week, our Dean of Engineering Technologies, Jody Stringer-Webb, is collecting the information in terms of those that have replied to the email that she sent out asking about interest in this virtual cohort. And a decision will be made this week in terms of will we be moving forward with this virtual cohort or not. So if we do move forward with a virtual cohort, and it'll be one class, one group, it won't be for everybody. You will not have to be on campus or in person for the first term. What we're going to do is for that one specific group, we're going to change the sequence of delivery ever so slightly to move some of the hands-on learning that's in the first term, and we're going to move that into the second term of the program, and then we'll move some theory-based courses that can be delivered virtually from the winter term into the fall. But by the end of the second term, all of our students and all of our classes will basically be caught up and will have covered the same courses. So I suspect we may have some questions about this virtual cohort when we move into the question period, but I just wanted to highlight this potential virtual cohort for our building and civil engineering technology students. So that's the end of my presentation. So we'll open up the floor for questions, and I'm not sure if Hanny, if you want to moderate the questions or how you want to proceed in that way.
Sure. I think we will give students two options, so you guys can unmute yourself and ask question, or you just can type question in a question bar, a question section, and we will take it one by one. So,
Sounds
okay,
good.
I see Anthony raise his hands. Hi, Anthony. Please let us know what question do we have.
Hello, I'm Anthony. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
To be honest, I'm no. I can understand the cohort, the virtual cohort concept. I don't know what's
Okay.
meaning.
Okay, so you haven't heard about the virtual cohort, meaning that you haven't received the email from our dean, Jody Stringer-Webb?
Can you repeat, please?
Sorry, I was just asking, is your question related to that you didn't receive the information package about the virtual cohort?
Yes, I would
Okay.
like to receive that information because I don't know the concept.
Okay, fair enough. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my email address in the chat and send me an email with your contact information, and I will share that with Jody, and she will forward the email regarding the virtual cohort with you.
Okay, cohort meaning that, for example,
Sure.
If I'm in Santiago, in Chile, can I start my studies from here?
Yes.
And
That's
should I get my study permit approved to do that or no?
No, you would not have to have an approved study permit at the time. However, if you did get your study permit, you could still come to Canada and live in Canada, but you would still be required to study with that virtual cohort. So what that means is for the very first term, you would not have any in-person training at the campus, but you can still come to Canada, you can work part-time. What will happen is come the winter term, the second term, then at that point you will still be in what we call the virtual cohort, but really that group of students that has taken this different sequence of delivery of courses during the winter term will have even more hands-on learning because they would have not done some of the hands-on learning in the fall. So by the end of the second term, everybody, all of the cohorts or the classes will basically be caught up and will have taken the same courses. But we're just varying the sequence of delivery to give an opportunity to an international student that is not sure if they're going to get their visa in time. And that's a way of us kind of helping you along that way.
And that's really good. That's really good because I am still waiting my study permit yet.
And also, if I can just add to this, we recommend all international students to come to Canada because nobody knows what will happen. The borders may be closed. So let's say if you want to come in winter, the borders are closed. You might be not able to come when you would require to attend classes in person. So always take into account, different consequences for this. Usually students who apply before May 15th, from what we hear from RCC, should receive a final decision on their application by August 6th. So if you apply before May, fingers crossed, you will receive your study permit before that time. So yeah.
Yeah, the another question that I have is, what about the Macs with brand new N1 processor? Are good for use AutoCAD and BIM programs?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it. So what specs do you have for your computer?
No. I would like to buy a new N1 Mac, but I'm not completely sure if it right to the program.
Right. So you can run a Mac, but if you do have a Mac, you need to make sure that it meets the minimum specifications. And most importantly, you need to have Boot Camp installed on the Mac so that you can run the Windows-based software, basically Windows 10. I see in the chat there's actually a question about should I have AutoCAD installed. So at the same time, I'll talk about that a little bit. So part of your fees at MBCC, there is a portion that's called the technical fee or the tech fee, and it will cover all of your software costs. So once you come to MBCC, your instructors will help you to install things like AutoCAD and Revit, which is basically covered by MBCC when you come to us.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
You're welcome. Okay, I'll just see if there's any other questions that we received in chat here. Right.
Bill, I don't know if you want to field this question. There's a question about instead of AutoCAD, can we use Draft Site?
Yeah, I'm one of the instructors in the buildings technology program. The software that we do use is AutoCAD and Revit. The Insight, is it called? Draft Site. Yeah, I've never heard of the Draft Site program, but generally speaking, you're probably going to find tools are very similar. It just takes a little getting used to where they are. But I mean, the AutoCAD's it's in our industry in Canada, that's the software of choice. All the others have been kind of eliminated out of the stratosphere. So AutoCAD and Revit are the two softwares in Canada that you'll need to be able to function when you get out to work. So
yeah, I would say
you'll
not
find
only. Go ahead,
yeah.
Bill. Sorry.
Yeah, and we start right off at the basics. It's a real slow climbing up the hill sort of approach. Some people come in with some AutoCAD skills and they find it might be a little bit slow. We can give you more challenging work if you want that. Most students are happy that it's not that hard. They have other time to work on other projects, but we don't start you off like at an intermediate level. We start right in at the very basics for the first term. And then the second term of your AutoCAD is applying those skills. And then in the second year, you start getting into more advanced AutoCAD skills. So it's a real nice, slow, gradual approach. If you've done any drawing in any other software, you'll find you won't have any issues at all learning the AutoCAD and the Revit programs here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Thank you very much. There is a question about, does virtual cohort has an effect on the length of postgraduate work permit? Usually it doesn't. However, we're not able to address any immigration or study related questions because in Canada, in order to address those questions, we would require to have an immigration license. I would like to invite all international students who would like to ask questions in regards to the study permit work in Canada to NBCC International Live session. I'll just drop a link here because the purpose of this session just to talk a little bit more about the program itself. However, if you're more interested about immigration and study permit questions, please join us. We do sessions every week, and their schedule available online with NBC Immigration Advisor. So, and yeah. Is there anything else, guys, you'd like to know? Please leave your comment in the chat or just raise your hand and you can ask your question. If there's anything that you would like to know, please let us know.
I have another one, but let me wait a second, please. I'm looking for it.
Okay.
Okay. What?
Sorry.
Yeah. Let me think. I'm looking for myself on the question.
Hi, Anthony. Do you have a question for us?
What about the quarantine plan that should be approved to you for us?
For self-isolation, for quarantine plan? So NBC Immigration Advisor will send you information when you will come into Canada. So you would require to do self-isolation. So you would require to do 3-day self-isolation at the port of entry. Let's say if you come into Toronto, you would require to stay for 3 days for self-isolation in Toronto, and then you would require to go through self-isolation in New Brunswick for 14 days.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And also, please join our session for international students in the link that I provide. We will have our immigration advisor, so she will be able to elaborate and speak a little bit more on entry to Canada, self-isolation, and other stuff. Yep.
Perfect.
So.
See, there's a question about schedule plan for the blended program. How many days per week are in person or virtual? So like I stated in my presentation, we're looking at 60 to 80% of in-person on-campus training for the fall. So in terms of when the actual schedules will be provided, and that will go also for booklets, if anyone's wondering about booklets, that information will be provided to students in early August. So we are currently not knowing if we're going to have that virtual cohort or not. We're still in the process of planning all of that, but certainly by the beginning of August, we will be able to provide really your timetable, if you will, for your studies, be it the virtual cohort or the blended cohorts, or the standard cohorts that we will have. So expect to be on the campus at least 3 to 4 days a week.
Okay, great. Is there anything else, guys, that you'd like to know? It's a unique opportunity to talk to instructors because we receive also a lot of questions, but we can only know so much. So it's a great opportunity to ask everything that you'd like to about the program life.
Okay, the another one is what kind of CAD programs are we expect to study in building engineering, technology, architecture?
Which type of
CAD program?
CAD product? It'll be AutoCAD and Revit.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty well the industry standard. So we use that because you know, when we have our program advisory committees, like literally industry members meet with us and we go over the curriculum with them, they tell us that they are using AutoCAD and that they are using Revit. So that's why we teach that. Our curriculum generally states that you will learn about computer assisted drafting, but we don't explicitly say in our curriculum that it will be AutoCAD, but we can tell you right now that that is what you will be learning when you're here.
Okay, then you have AutoCAD and Revit. No.
Yes.
ArchiCAD, no. ArchiCAD, no.
I don't believe so, Bill. I don't know if you want to chime in. No, it's really just
AutoCAD. No.
Yeah.
Okay. No, there's none of the offices use that software, so we don't bother teaching that. Yeah. There's one problem. There's one. I don't know if you've ever used a software program called SketchUp. It's a Google product. It's free. And that's the only one. I used Google in my presentations and demonstrations. I like it. It's a nice little quick graphics program. But if you wanted to learn Google, like you can learn that at home. I use it in my presentations, and some students go off and design with it and stuff. But it's a nice little free software that it's really not part of our curriculum, but it's one of the softwares that I use. And it's very similar. I've never worked in the ArchiCAD, but I think it's very similar in that it's more of an architectural presentation software that also does working drawings, I think, if I'm not mistaken, right? Is that what you've worked in the past? ArchiCAD?
Excuse me, can you repeat, please?
You have worked in ArchiCAD, or you're just curious if we teach that? No, yeah. No, you'll find, what was the other one?
I have ArchiCAD and the EX Max, just 3S Max, anyway. A little bit of AutoCAD, not really.
And I do strongly suggest that you do your boot camp on your AutoCAD if you do get a Mac, because what happens is your menus are not the same as my menus when I'm teaching. So I'm pointing to things and I'm pulling down menus and stuff, and your interface is not the same if you just go Mac straight out. So you'll get lost. It's a real long haul to try to, run your AutoCAD through your Mac. So Mr. Hebert talked about doing a boot camp. I strongly suggest that. Some students don't like to do it, but you need to run your Windows so that you can get the AutoCAD version that's run off of Windows. But yeah, you can still use a Mac, but you really have to do that boot camp to make things run smoothly. Okay.
Yeah, our IT department will only support Macs when they have the boot camp. So
I got an idea. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have an ID department that helps you, but basically the way that it works is you'll use your student ID card to throw proof of ID to AutoCAD, and Autodesk is the software provider, and they provide AutoCAD and Revit to you, and you'll get free software from them with the proof that you are a student at the community college. And so that's how it works. And so they send you a license, and you're good to go. Okay, and you can download off of their site, and that's how the software runs, only through the proof of the ID card. Okay.
So I see there's a question about apprenticeship in construction management. So there is no apprenticeship in our 2-year building engineering technology program. We do have a 2-week practicum, which is an opportunity for our students to go work with an industry partner for a 2-week period of time. But apprenticeship is something that's generally reserved for the trades. This is not a trade program. It's a 2-year technology level program, just to answer that question. Apart from the laptop, would you recommend students bring in materials such as PPE, et cetera, when they arrive at MBCC? Could you please share the checklist? Excellent question. So as part of the book list that we will provide in August, there's also a list of some of those materials. I can tell you right now that we will ask you to, and we can provide certainly the hard hats and the safety vest. Those you can purchase from our bookstore. We will have some. You will need to have CSA approved work boots, steel toe boots. So CSA is the Canadian Standards Association that meets the construction standards in Canada. Those we don't provide those, but we have lots of local vendors that sell the approved safety footwear that you will require. On the book list, there's also a few things like a recommended calculator and a few other things that are not necessarily books, but they will be listed on the book list.
Okay, I have a student who would like to ask a question here live. I just allow your camera here. Yeah. Hello, Meet. You raise your hand.
Hello,
and
sir.
Yep. How are you?
Fine, sir. I have one question. When we started online courses from here in India, so we have to select AutoCAD course in first term or not?
We're actually working through those details. So once we know we can do it in terms of the virtual cohort, we haven't made the final decisions in terms of which courses will be moved. So we haven't made a final decision about offering AutoCAD in the very first term for the virtual cohort. So that final decision has not been made. But once we confirm that we will have a virtual cohort, then at that point we will be able to communicate the change in the sequence of delivery for those cohorts. So I would say at this point it's possible that you would be studying AutoCAD in the fall if you're in the virtual cohort. Yes.
But sir, it's hard from here to learn that AutoCAD classes.
Absolutely, yes. No, I understand for sure. But I can assure you that we have great instructors and we really start from the beginning. So there's no expectation that you've worked with any type of CAD software before coming to us. So we will start from the beginning with you and we'll get you there.
Yeah. And that's what. That's why we recommend students to come to Canada to study in a blended form, because it would be much way easier. And also, guys, take into account time difference, because we have time difference. Sometimes students have to wake up at 3 o'clock at night. It might be not ideal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much for your question.
Welcome, sir. Thank
you. I see another question here, and the question is the following: when do we know if we accepted as one of the students in cohort? Thank you.
Yeah, great question. So our Dean of Engineering Technologies will be making that decision this week. And so once the decision has been made, basically the students that have requested the virtual cohort will be offered the virtual cohort. I haven't seen the number in terms of exactly how many students and if there will be a maximum capacity, but I know certainly that that's going to be evaluated sooner than later, and don't expect an email tomorrow. I expect to have some discussions with the dean tomorrow about that, and I think it's fair to say that you can expect some communications with regards to the offering of the virtual cohort early next week. Maybe not Monday, but certainly early next week you should expect some additional information on the virtual cohort.
Okay, great. Is there anything else, guys, that you'd like to know? So far, we're receiving great questions from students. We still have about 10 minutes left.
Maybe this is another question about the college, but I would like to do it.
Sure.
What about the weather in fall? What about
weather in fall?
Weather. Oh, great questions.
Warm, rainy.
No, I would say if there's one thing that's unique about Atlantic Canada is you'll be exposed to all kinds of different weather experiences. So if you arrive sometime in August, that's the warmest time of the year for us. So you can expect temperatures anywhere between 20 to sometimes 30, 32 degrees Celsius that time of year. The fall is beautiful. The fall transitions from 20-degree weather to potentially all the way down to -20 weather during the winter. So after the fall season, winter, and December, January. January is probably the coldest month in Canada, and you can expect to see snow. You can expect to see some fairly cold temperatures, which can be a challenge for international students to acclimatize to that, but it's also very beautiful and can open up some really amazing experiences for you. And then the spring, things get a little bit warmer, of course, and we're into June now, and today it was 27 degrees Celsius in Moncton today, and it would be the same thing in Fredericton, very, very similar. Hani, you're in Fredericton, are you not, Hani?
Yeah. Yes. So usually I'm also a newcomer. I came from Ukraine, so I think once again, it's my personal preference. I love fall and in New Brunswick. I think it's a beautiful time to come to Canada. It's not cold, not hot, and it's really beautiful. So September is definitely a good month to come to Canada. Might be a little bit different for people who never experience winter, but from what I heard, students, they love it because they see snow maybe sometimes for the first time in their lives. They have a chance to try winter activities. You have to watch out with this because make sure you have insurance. So yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So we have a few questions here.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah, so I'll just read it. For how many days of classes per week are scheduled for BET program?
Yeah, so you can expect a fairly busy schedule. So be it virtual or in person, you will have some type of learning activity for 6 hours per day. So the day starts at 8:30, of course, Atlantic Standard Time, and your day typically ends around 3:30 in the afternoon. There's an hour for lunch, and that could be a combination of some virtual theory or some in-person theory, and of course the hands-on learning at the campus.
Okay, great. I see another question here. So the question is the following. Could I transfer from civil engineer technology highway and a municipal program to building engineer technology construction management?
Yes, that's a great question. So I know I covered it in the presentation. It's not always really clear because, what's different between building and civil engineering technology. So I will answer this question for you. If you are enrolled in civil engineering technology and you wish to transfer into building engineering technology, construction management, you can do that as long as it's done before the beginning of the third term of study. So the first two terms are completely identical. You would be taking the same courses if you were in highway, municipal, or construction management, exact same courses. It's when you get to term 3 that things become different between those program areas, and that's where the transfer request has to be done before the beginning of the third term.
Okay, great. I see we have one hand raised from Adriana. So Adriana, please let us know what's your question.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. We're doing great. How are you today?
I'm fine too, thanks. My question is around about the topic of the borders at winter, for example, because in the situation that I started the fall in virtual, and I will can assist to January to the college. Yes, it's a little worry for me at this moment. The question is if I can I forgot the word. Say again that I will not do the virtual court and I travel to Canada for September.
Yep, that is a great question, and that's why we always let students kind of think consequences, because you would be required to come to Canada in order to participate in learning activities in person. So if that's why we advise all students to take this risk into account, because we always advise international students to apply for your study permit as soon as possible, regardless of your delivery mode. So we would definitely recommend you to apply. Maybe you already applied, and even if it's virtual, you still can come to Canada in September, and that's our best recommendation, because otherwise, if you would not able to come in Canada in winter, you would not able to finish your program.
Okay, in this case, there is no problem to stay in Canada and assist virtual or presential. Is indifferent.
Yes, there is no from study permit perspectives, there is no difference. As soon as you receive your study permit, you can come to Canada, even if delivery mode is virtual. From learning perspectives, there is a little bit difference, right? As I understand, the course at week.
Yes.
A little bit different. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why it's important for those that.
Thanks.
For students that would be in the virtual cohort, I know we've had questions in other sessions about would you be able to apply for the virtual cohort, and then you know, if you get your study permit, can you switch into the other one? And the answer to that is no. We would have to commit to the virtual cohort because the sequence of delivery would be different, and therefore, if you wanted to transfer into the blended cohort, they would not be taking exactly the same courses. So if you're committing to the virtual cohort, you will commit to see that through to the end of the virtual cohort sequence.
Okay, and yeah, I see.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Thank you very much for your interest and for the questions. I see another question in the chat here. So the question is the following: May we know the courses offered and the class schedule for the first semester, so that we can study in advance?
Yes, I believe I just received an email from you, Ched. So what I will do is I can share the course map, we call, and it basically has the sequence of delivery. So it will outline which courses you are taking, which sequence. I will say this though, that would be really for the blended cohort. We haven't finalized exactly what the sequence would be for the virtual cohort if it is offered. But if you know that you are going to be in the standard blended class, then certainly we can share that information with you. In terms of the actual class schedule, that will be offered in early August in terms of the actual timetable of which class will be offered on Monday morning at 8:30, so on and so forth. But what we could share with you now is the sequence of delivery in terms of which order you'll be taking courses and in which term.
Yeah, great, thank you. So we made to the end of webinar, but we still have like 2 questions. So I think we just take those, guys, because we just try to address as much question as possible with the timeline for this webinar. So there is a 2 question. The first one is, any eligibility exam after the program?
So in terms of graduating from this program, you will basically have a diploma in engineering technology. And with that, because it's an accredited program, as I mentioned in my presentation, you will be eligible to join the Provincial Association for Engineering Technologists. With that, you will have some certifications that will be available to you and designations. So, for example, once you've acquired enough experience in industry, a few years, then what you can use is the PTech or Professional Technologist designation in Canada, which is a huge advantage. But there's no set of exams after you graduate for certification. You are graduating from an accredited program, and with that, you have the right to apply to the Provincial Association. And if you would choose to move from New Brunswick, let's say, into another province, that would also apply to other provinces in Canada as well, and even other places in the world.
Okay. And the last question, last but not least, so the question is the following: what exam I expected at the end of every term? What happens if a student fails on any particular? From my side, I would just say don't think about failure, think about the success. But
no, it's a very fair question, and not every course will have a final exam. So depending on the type of course that it is, sometimes it's project-based work that you complete throughout the term. Some of the theory-based courses may have a final test or an exam. Not all of our courses have a comprehensive exam at the end of the course, just so that you're aware of that. It does happen that students are unsuccessful in a given course. Depending on which course that is, it can have a significant impact in your ability to complete the program in 2 years. So if you do fail a course, depending on which course it is, that could require some additional study beyond the initial planned 2 years to complete the program. And for international students, this has happened in the past. It means that you may need to extend your visa, and we do have students that apply for extensions, and they generally do get them if that's required. Of course, we're not hoping for that for anyone, but I can certainly understand why you would ask the question.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I just want to say thank you our instructors for your participation, guys. Thank you for your questions. For upcoming session, please join our session for international students in the links that I provide, and also stay safe. And hopefully we will see each other in New Brunswick. Just want to I see people still joining. So for everyone who just joined, this webinar will be available in recording later on NBCC website. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Is there anything you guys would like to add?
No, I'd just like to say that you're very welcome. Really looking forward to meeting everyone. Maybe it won't be in person come September. Maybe it'll only be in January. We'll see. But really hoping that everyone will be able to have some safe travels to Canada for those of you that are coming from away. And we're really excited to have you join us in New Brunswick.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Yep. Welcome. Hopefully we'll all see you soon.